Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Dorky Dunkleosteus. My name is Carla. You can call me the Curator. I'd like to apologize because I have been fiddling around with my camcorder for probably about 3 hours now, and I can't get it to work properly. I have to fiddle with it some more, but I wanted to get the first episode out and really get myself into the mood to create a channel on geology, paleontology, and geomythology. So this is the first episode, and I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. As I said, my name is Carla. I actually am a geologist. I have my bachelor's degree in geology. I'm also very, very close to finishing my thesis and getting my master's degree in museum studies. I have quite a passion for paleontology, and in fact, it was because of my passion that I actually decided to do this in 2020. So what is the Dorky Dunkleosteus? Well, a Dunkleosteus is this guy. It is a placoderm. It is an ancient prehistoric fish. Actually, it's an armor-headed fish. They are my absolute favorite prehistoric aquatic animal that's not a dinosaur. And I decided, you know what? I'm a giant dork. I'm wearing a Pacific Rim t-shirt right now. So why don't I do a little alliteration and do the Dorky Dunkleosteus. So the channel is going to be about paleontology, mainly, a little bit of geology, and a little bit of something called geomythology. Geomythology is the study of ancient myths actually having a geological discovery basis. So basically the truth behind all of the myths, like the Cyclops and the Griffin, and even the dragon. We'll get into those at another time. So what is this channel going to be about? What are we actually going to do here as a community and as a channel? So every week I am going to upload a video that's going to talk about something fairly recent or new in the world of paleontology. And we're going to have a discussion. I'm going to have references and links, something to get everybody really excited about what's going on. I want to take these sometimes very difficult to read topics in scientific papers and all of that, and actually be able to have an open discussion in a community that's about education, having a little bit of fun, and getting to understand the science. The other thing that I would actually like to do, probably at a later date, is actually start a bi-monthly gaming session. That means it would be kind of a little side gig of either a live stream or just a recording of a let's play of a game that has something to do with paleontology. Something like Ark Survival Evolved, or Jurassic World Evolution, or Fossil Fighters, if I can figure out how to capture off of a 3DS or a Nintendo DS system, because I love that game. So that's something that's going to happen down the road. So what do I want from the community? What I would love, as I said, is a community that's built around sharing information and answering questions about geology, paleontology, and geomythology, and really just having fun with old dead shit. And sometimes, yes, we will have old dead shit discussions because I do have coprolites. So I did actually ask a few people on my Facebook page and Instagram and Twitter and Tumblr to ask some questions to see, hey, what's going on? Let me have a little bit of a Q&A session right at the first episode. So this is from Facebook. The Hitman Clive Ramroop has asked, what first sparked your interest in paleontology and how did it grow from there? Well, thank you very much, Clive. I really appreciate that. So, what sparked my interest in paleontology? A movie in 1986, a year before I was born, but I saw it when I was little, called The Land Before Time. The Land Before Time is my favorite, absolute favorite movie growing up. I love that movie. Dinosaurs from that moment on. By the time I think I saw it when I was 3 or so. I have it on DVD still. I still watch it. I love that first movie. There is no other. Sorry, I don't care how many other episodes or a series there are. The first one is the only good one. I love The Land Before Time. I love dinosaurs. I love them so much, I put one on my arm. So yeah, I love dinosaurs, and I loved it. And then when Jurassic Park came out, that was 1993. So I was 7. Let's see, 87, 88, 89, 99. Yeah, 6, 7 years old. I was probably about 8 when it finally came out on VHS. We actually had the VHS. I watched that movie so many times, I destroyed the tape. That's also what I did to the Land Before Time tape. I'm so glad DVDs exist now. I loved Jurassic Park. I love the pop culture of it. And when I was about 11, I actually found my first fossil. It was a brachiopod. I live in an area that we don't have Cretaceous material. We have Devonian age material. So, back to this guy, the Devonian. 385 million years old. So this, where I was living, was actually a shallow inland sea, and I found a brachiopod. A brachiopod is a type of bivalve. It's really weird. They're actually not extinct. They still exist today. And that was so cool because I was cracking rocks open with rocks in my backyard, and I cracked the rock open. I ran over to my next door neighbor, Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, I love you. Rang his bell and ran on. I'm like, Mr. Bennett, I found something. And he came down, and he was an amateur paleontologist, and he took a look at it, and he's like, you found a brachiopod. You found a fossil. That was mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And I have been collecting ever since. I actually got the opportunity to work for the nation's #1 fossil park and nature reserve, Penn-Dixie. I recommend it. It's just south of Buffalo, New York. I actually got to work there for 2 summers. It was absolutely amazing. I found some wonderful trilobites, which are kind of little, they kind of look like roly-polies or potato bugs. I love these things. I've taught myself how to clean fossils. I've taught myself how to preserve fossils. And I am so excited to actually go on a big dig somewhere, either personally or maybe go out scuba diving and finding some rivers to dive in to find some megalodon teeth. I do have 2 megalodon teeth that I bought. So yeah, it's just snowballed from that first movie. So thank you to George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and Don Bluth for making The Land Before Time, because you inspired somebody in their early 30s to finally do something with their passion. Alrighty, so next question. Here we go. This is from Monica. What prehistoric creature do you think is the strangest? Ooh, that is a tough one. That is a really, really tough one, because there are so many we actually don't know about. Estimation in the entire fossil record, so from the very time that life started coming up on Earth to basically the last major extinction event, we have only, conservatively, 5% of the fossil record. Out of 100% of life, we have 5% of it. So we don't have a lot to go on, but what we do have is pretty strange. I have to say that the one that I think is the strangest is Heliacorpion. It sounds like a Pokemon. Heliacorpion! It was a whorl-toothed shark. So it was a very, very early shark, and it had this weird whorl tooth in its mouth. And paleontologists and paleo artists have been trying to figure out what this thing looked like since it was discovered, because all we have is that whorl tooth. And it's so fascinating. We think we have it figured out now, and it is really, really cool looking. Any of the prehistoric sharks, though, are really weird looking. Another very, very strange looking is some of the early scorpions, the aquatic scorpions known as Eurypterids. That's also the New York State fossil, is Eurypterus. They could look really weird. They could also get really, really big. Some of them are estimated to be up to 8 feet long. And then there was some other animals in that Devonian age, Devonian and Silurian. They're really weird. And they just make people scratch their heads. I can only imagine what never got fossilized and how weird it may have been in those early days in the Devonian and the Silurian, the Ordovician, heck, even the Cambrian, and even the very, very late Precambrian. I mean, there is actually, I love this. We may have a discussion on this in another episode because I love this movie, Tremors. They actually discovered a jawed carnivorous worm. Immediately, everyone who knew about this movie was like, it's a graboid! Even Michael Gross, who was in the movie, even said, I told you there were graboids. Very, very cool. We may actually have a discussion of that on movie monsters and their inspirations, or how movie monsters have then been discovered in the fossil record. It's really cool. So yeah. There's some weird stuff, but I have to say the top is definitely Helicorpion. Really weird looking shark. Really famous for some of the reconstructions as well. Alrighty, so we are going to jump over to Twitter now. Wandering Star asked, favorite things related to those topics. Okay, so the topics of geology, paleontology, and geomythology. Okay, so geology. I like rocks. I am like that kid in Charlie Brown Halloween who's like, I got a rock. Except I'm the opposite. I'm like, I got a rock. I collect rocks. I really do. I collect rocks from everywhere I've been. My father even has gotten me rocks from where he has been overseas with the military. I love it. I love it because rocks hold so much history. And they tell such beautiful stories, and they are beautiful in and of themselves. Some of the minerals and beautiful crystals that we get out of simple elements that we have in the crust of, Earth make amazingly beautiful things. Sodalite is one of my favorite rocks. It's beautiful. It is like TARDIS blue. And then you have quartz. So SiO2 is the most common mineral in the entire world. In fact, we are considered a silicon planet. Quartz is beautiful. It can go crystal clear to being like a diamond to jet black in all sorts of colors. Amethyst is actually just purple quartz. I love quartz. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It has beautiful crystals in it, and getting I actually have a quartz crystal that's about that long. That's about 6 inches, and it's a fully developed crystal, so it has the hexagonal sides, so it has 6 sides, and it has beautiful terminations on it, so it has like little pyramids. Absolutely beautiful. We'll probably talk about that in another episode. Some of the really cool minerals that actually replace fossils. Paleontology. So what is my favorite thing in paleontology? Knowing that we only have 5%. And every day we are discovering something. And it doesn't have to be out in the fields. We can discover things that are actually in museum collections already. And that's really cool. Just recently, there was a discovery that one of the 12 Archaeopteryx fossils may actually be an entirely new species. That's really cool. That's so cool. Discoveries that have been corrected because we understand them a little better. We found other specimens. It's this constant discovery with paleontology. We're always finding something out. We're always pushing our understanding and our knowledge. And that is what makes it so fascinating. And that's why I want to share it with people and help to kind of take it from this really cerebral thing up here to, actually bring it down to where it is. It's people going out and getting absolutely filthy in dirt. Noses to the ground, asses in the air, searching for bits of bone and teeth and discovering things that haven't seen the light of day in millions of years. Even stuff from the last ice age, a few thousand years, is amazing. I've gotten lucky enough to actually see fossils that technically aren't even fossils. They're just preserved bone from the last ice age, and it reeks. Trust me, it reeks. We'll go into that in another episode as well. We'll talk about the difference between fossilization and preservation, and how the La Brea tar pits and a specific swamp area in New York are very well known for their fossils that are technically still bone. So that's really cool. Geomythology. So geomythology is the study and the correlation between myths and actual ancient discoveries of fossils or geologic elements. I love that because I love mythology. My favorite mythological creature is the dragon. And dragons in mythology has always been something that I'm like, every single culture has a story about a dragon. Something that is inherently a dragon. They're always described very similar. Reptilian, meat-eating with very sharp teeth, long claws, long, almost serpent-like bodies. They can fly. Some of them can fly. Some of them can breathe air, or fire. Some of them can swim in the water. But they're always very, very similar. It's like ingrained in our brain what a dragon is. What inspired that ingraining of our brain, in our little tiny lizard brain in the back, to see something as a child and say, that is a dragon? It has to be a dinosaur. It has to be a dinosaur tooth, a dinosaur skull, a dinosaur backbone. And discovering these grains of truth, these little nuggets of truth that are in these stories that have been passed down and are considered just, and they're just, made up stories. Well, they're not, because mythologies evolve. Even today, we have our own mythologies. We have modern mythology. And people don't like to think about it like that, but we do. We really do. Our storytelling and our allegories is often exactly what ancient cultures did in mythology. So actually finding the grains of truth, the geological, the paleontological, or the astronomical events that ancient people discovered or saw and made up a story to explain it. That's kind of what we do every day. We all make up stories in our own heads about, why did this happen? Why is this happening? So that's the real exciting thing about geomythology to me. And I've got a few books. We're definitely going to have an episode on geomythology. And hopefully I can reach out to the author of a few books and talk to her about it. If not, I will definitely talk about her books. So, okay, I'm pretty sure that I have yammered on enough for the first episode, especially with not having a discussion. I have a few ideas of what we can do, but if you guys have any suggestions, please leave it down in the comments. Leave me a like, ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding the bell, and hey, subscribe. I know it's just the first episode, but thank you again so much for being here. Hopefully I will have a better setup in the next episode or the episode after that. I'm really excited to share this with you, and I cannot wait to see you all again. So this is your Curator signing off for today, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.